Sabledo Gaming here, and for this video I will be covering part 3 of my multi-part Five Nights at Freddy's 4 concept series. Now this part has no relevance to Five Nights at Freddy's 4, but I have to make this video because the next part I'm planning to make will make absolutely zero sense whatsoever if I don't make this video. Now, this video is based on an idea I made up, another idea. It's completely huge. It's a big idea, so this video is going to be pretty long. So let's begin. The next thing I have to go over is the new animatronics I've been talking about in the previous parts. But in order for some of these animatronics to make sense, I will have to reveal to you my new idea of a Five Nights at Freddy's 2 side game Scott could make. But since again this is me using my creative liberties, then I don't expect Scott to do this at all, because this is just my own original idea, not a prediction or anything. But this idea is called Five Nights at Freddy's 2 The Bite of 87. And this side game goes a little like this. Everything you knew about the Bite of 87 was wrong. The real culprit to this crime is a recalled animatronic from Fredbear's Diner, but then this animatronic wasn't Fredbear. This animatronic was the only other animatronic that worked with Fredbear in his diner. His name was Sir Frogger. He is a large animatronic frog butler who stood upright, and he acted as a waiter and greeter who could move around freely, while Fredbear couldn't. He just stood on a stage. But you may be thinking, how is this possible if the Bite of 87 happened in 87, but was still before Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which was during 1987? Well, the answer is simple. Fredbear's Diner closed down due to the Bite of 87 at the very beginning of the year. But Fazbear Entertainment still had their huge profit from Fredbear's Diner. What they did was they quickly bought out an old restaurant and they turned it into Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and they reopened near the end of 1987. And this explains why Five Nights at Freddy's 2 Pizzeria is old and worn down even though it just opened. It also explains how both the Bite of 87 could happen in Fredbear's Diner and how Five Nights at Freddy's 2 takes place in 87, but it was behind that. So let's explain the side game now. I came up with this side game, and it takes place in 1988 after Jeremy Fitzgerald, the security guard, was fired due to tampering with animatronics, and before Five Nights at Freddy's 2's Pizzeria closed down. During their first year, Fazbear Entertainment gained enough profit to redesign the restaurant the way they wanted to. Now, this new design adds two major differences, one being a front door lobby and another being a fun room. Other minor differences were also added as well. Fazbear Entertainment also made some more changes as well. The changes that the company president decided to do was to bring back Sir Frogger, animatronic that was recalled. But when they brought him back, they just remembered, or they just realized that the old Sir Frogger, Sir Frogger was going to do the bite again, and the Bite of 87 would happen again because it's a problem with the animatronic itself. But so what they just did was they shoved Sir Frogger into the parts and services room, and they made a new animatronic called Toy Frogger. Toy Frogger was changed entirely so that the Bite of 87 would never happen again. What they did to prevent this was they shoved Toy Frogger's body into an immobile plastic body that is shaped like a generic sitting frog body so that he couldn't walk around. Now, since he can't walk around, Toy Frogger's only job is being a greeter and a a service guide. Now you may ask, if Toy Frogger is immobile, then how does he attack you? Well, Toy Frogger sits in the front door lobby and you have to look at him through the camera. And he sits in the stand that has an emergency metal bars that you can drop down to prevent his escape with this button. And there's also a service button at the stand. Wait a second, I did just say that the metal bars prevent his escape? Well, this obviously means I'm implying that Toy Frogger is going to escape, and he is going to escape by ripping his endoskeleton body out of his own immobile body so that he can run around and attack you. Now, as far as the design, he's still going to run around with his head. He's not going to remove his head or anything, but his entire body but his head is going to be just this endoskeleton. Now, what you're supposed to do is look at him on his camera like I said, and when his eyes roll up into his head, his mouth drops and his head twitches. This means he's about to try and to escape because he's going crazy. Because he can't stand not moving at all. So when he does that, you need to drop the emergency metal bars until he stops and looks normal again. But if he does manage to escape, he will move around like a normal animatronic. But this is actually very, very bad because he is hard to see on your cameras. And actually, when he shows up at your door, there is nothing you can do to stop him. Because he is too new and he does not yet recognize Freddy Fazbear, so your mask won't work on him. And he isn't sensitive to light like Foxy, so what you do to save yourself when he escapes is just constantly spam the service button at the front lobby. And this will slowly start to get Toy Frogger to return back to his stand because he is programmed also to be a service guide, as I said, and it's his duty to serve customers that need to know something or directions or just service, and he can't return to his stand if the metal bars are on when you're pushing the button. So don't have it down when he's coming back, and if you press the service button while he is in his stand, then he will malfunction and become even more aggressive, more active. He'll try to escape even more frequently, and when he escapes, he's going to run around even more. But that's all for Toy Frogger, really. But don't forget, I did say that the old Sir Frogger is still in the parts and services room. And he is going to be another animatronic that attacks, but he acts totally different. He is nothing special, but he will seem to teleport in an entirely random route around the whole map. Randomly, he's not going to go from room to room, he's just going to bounce around the whole map at a random rate, which makes him unique. There's nothing else about him unique. And he is much more aggressive than any other animatronic. And since he's not like Toy Frogger, you obviously can use Freddy Fazbear mask on him, so don't worry about that. Now, there is 2 more animatronics that I have to cover, but I can sweep through them really fast. One of them is Balloon Girl, or JJ. Balloon Girl was actually supposed to be an actual animatronic in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, but the Fazbear Entertainment, they made her, but they never implemented her into the restaurant, but they accidentally left her under your desk, so that's how she appears. But they never implemented her into the restaurant because they started running out of money and they could make the fun room, but after their year they got enough money back and then they can make the fun room. And now Balloon Girl's here, and what she does is she stands and looks exactly like Balloon Boy, but with the colors that Balloon Girl has that you know about. And the sign that she holds says fun on it. And you can probably guess that she starts out in the fun room I mentioned before. And she will prevent you from using her cameras when she appears in your room. But don't worry. She and Balloon Boy are naturally less active, and it's extremely rare to find them both in your room at once. And also, if they enter into your room and they can stand up into your room for they won't be in your room for the duration of the entire rest of the night. They will eventually leave. So it's not like you have to deal with surviving for the rest of the night or anything. So, that's it for Balloon Girl. The last animatronic is actually not like an actual animatronic that attacks you or anything. And, but he's implemented into this side game because it's going to be like a teaser for Five Nights at Freddy's 4, because he's going to have a bigger role in that game. But this animatronic is the coolest idea ever. This animatronic is a toy puppet. Now, this is cool. I could draw a picture later and show you how I think it'll look. I'll probably do that with all the animatronics. But now let me explain Toy Puppet. He was made to replace the first puppet because Toy Puppet was controllable. The first puppet actually had a form of intelligence, and the company's president and all that, they didn't want that. They didn't know how it could start thinking. They found out it could, and they didn't want an animatronic with intelligence. They wanted an animatronic they could fully control, like all the other animatronics. And yes, they don't realize that the other animatronics are possessed, but they'll roll with it. And so they make the toy puppet, but since the first puppet is extremely smart, the first puppet, never let that toy puppet replace him. So the toy puppet was thrown. The first puppet just threw the toy puppet somewhere in the building, and you can't see him at all in the game. But he hides because he's hidden in an area that the first puppet put him in, and the puppet deactivated him, but he reactivated himself, and he appears. But he appears extremely rarely. And he only appears to crash your game like Golden Freddy. He's just in the game as a gimmicky thing to, feel like the first game's Golden Freddy crashing. And in this side game, Golden Freddy will not be in it, just so that there's not two animatronics that could crash your game or kill you instantly and is unavoidable. But Toy Puppet is he's just gonna be I just added him to reference the next game, Five Nights at Freddy's 4, because if he wasn't in, there'd be no explanation for him being in that game, because he is going to be in that game. And the reason why this video was all relevant to Five Nights at Freddy's 4 is because also Surf Frogger and Toy Frogger, Balloon Girl is not going to return, but Toy Frogger and Surf Frogger and Toy Puppet, they're all going to make a return because Freddy Fazbear Entertainment kept them hidden like the other animatronic ideas that I said in the first game, or in the first part, I mean. And the reason why Balloon Girl isn't making a return is because Fazbear Frights did confiscate Balloon Girl. That's what I'm gonna say, and that's how it goes. But yeah, that was all that I need to say about this part. Go ahead and leave a comment, subscribe, and tune in soon for the very next part. See you later. Sable Duo Gaming here.